And good morning, and welcome to another episode of Magic Man in the Morning. As I'm joined by he was awake a few minutes ago, Gerald, Gerald Glassford. As we're joined for Magic Man in the Morning, Gerald has decided to fall asleep, ladies and gentlemen. So I will let go of Gerald and bring in LekerTom. LekerTom, welcome to Magic Man in the Morning. I've been looking to get you on a guest for a while, and really appreciate you coming on, sir. You're always a friend of the show, so we're willing to delay it as long as it takes to get Tom on. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine, Sean. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Game days, I always get a little extra juice. I'm not sure why. I just love this team so much. Makes me makes me all joyful inside. And the fact that we lost to the Clippers on a back-to-back, I got to be honest, Tom, that was a conflict in the scheduling, and I don't take too much away from that result. Do you feel the same way?
I actually feel somewhat encouraged because LeBron played absolutely the worst half that I've ever seen him play, and then he came back and played one of the best halves he's ever played. And like every game we've seen this year, unlike the last 2 years, this team did not quit, even though they were behind, even though their superstars were struggling. They came back. It was a 7-point game, and had it not been for two or three guys having career type games from the Clippers, we could have easily won that game. It's in a way, it is possibly a blessing because I don't really want to play the Suns in the first round. I would like to have time for LeBron and AD to get their feet underneath them for the team, which has so many new players and even players just coming back from injury who haven't had a chance to integrate with the team. I think it's really important that they get some time together. And I was willing to say that I would rather have that week off and have to play Durant, maybe not 100% back, in the first round, rather than meeting them down the road. Because if we don't meet them in the first round, we're going to meet them down the road. They're the team to beat, obviously, in the West. So, I have mixed feelings, and I think, number one, I'm glad they played the stars. I do not like superstars sitting out, especially when at this time of year, And so I was happy when they said that it was a game time decision, because a game time decision usually means it's the player's decision. It's not the coach's decision, the medical staff, or anybody else. So I thought that was really a very positive thing. And then both guys wanted to play. They weren't ducking. They didn't want to duck it. They didn't want to duck it because of the fact of having to be the fourth, fifth seed and having to go up against them, going against the Suns in the first round, with Durant and Booker. So, there's a trade-off there. I thought, okay, LeBron came back and showed that, man, this is the LeBron James. If we have that LeBron James that we got in the second half, and we have anything close to the Anthony Davis that we had in the 3 games before then, this team will be fine, because I think they've got 2 other factors in D'Lo and in Reeves that give them something they didn't have before, which is a couple of stars below the 2 superstars. I've always believed that 3 superstars was not the answer. It was 2 superstars and 2 stars. And I think we've got that formula right now. Can't hear you, Sean.
Because I was on mute. Yeah, but you're right, Tom. That I agree. That was the worst half he ever played. But I will say he kind of had the right attitude. He wasn't really trying to force things. Yeah. He wasn't trying to force the issue. His shot just wasn't falling, and he just didn't have his legs underneath him. Unfortunately, that's just one of the little bugaboos in a schedule where, you play a team that's
we play 3 games in 4 days, and they rest.
Right. They were just waiting for us.
Yeah. No, and on top of it, you have to give Tyler some credit, man. I mean, they whooped our ass 11 times in a row. And
yeah, I know, man. I know.
it's hard to say just one game after 11. I mean, Ty Lue's a good coach, and they have. If there is a team out there that had depth equivalent to what I think we have now as far as quality players, it's the Clippers. I mean, and to a certain extent, they made the smart moves. When Russ got off of those shots, started missing in the second quarter and didn't play in the second half. That was a smart move by Ty Lue, and that's. I want them in a 7-game series. Then we'll
It'll happen eventually, whether it's this year or down the road, but it'll happen eventually. But as we look towards tonight, Tom, our opponent tonight is the Phoenix Suns, and they were in action last night against the Denver Nuggets.
And what are they going to do today?
Yeah.
Are they going to play or are they not going to play?
Right. Are they going to pull a Denver from last night? Denver rested all 5 of their starters. Michael Malone emptied the bench. They played pretty well, actually, but the Suns were victorious 119-115. The Suns are 7-0 with Kevin Durant in the starting lineup, Tom. Outside of the Los Angeles Lakers, you can make an argument that Phoenix Suns are also the hottest team in the NBA.
They are.
So the 2 hottest teams in the league right now are playing each other tonight. Now, like you said, Tom, Phoenix doesn't have anything to play for right now. They've locked up the 4th seed. Are they going to play their guys? We don't know. Everything's up in the air right now. It's questionable.
Are the Lakers going to play our guys?
Without guys, yeah. Who knows? It is so bogged down right now in the West. Yeah. Two important games for Lakers fans to check out tonight. One is in the East and one is in the West. Now, the important game in the East to pay attention to is the Memphis Grizzlies are in Milwaukee tonight to play the Bucks. Now, Tom, the Bucks also have nothing to play for.
Right.
They locked up the 1st seed, and they didn't even play Giannis and Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton, and they were still able to lock it up. Memphis seems to be all hands on deck tonight, at least from the injury report. Taylor Jenkins says everybody's ready to go. So you'd have to expect the Memphis Grizzlies would probably pull out a victory tonight against a Bucks team that's playing their bench. So if the Bucks win, Tom, if the Grizz win, that means they've locked up the 2 seed. However, tonight, the Warriors play a huge game against the Sacramento Kings. Now, they're on the road. It's in Sacramento. And we know, Tom, this year that the Warriors have been a brilliant team. Yeah, on the road. A brilliant team at home, like a 60-plus win team based on the projections by their home record. But the road record is that of a lottery team, Tom.
Yeah.
But we don't even know if their guys are going to play. And are the Kings going to play any of their guys once they've watched the scoreboard and seen the result of the Bucks
and that
game?
Grizzlies game will come in. They'll know what happened.
They'll know what happened, yeah. Right? So it's all up in the air, man. It's just dependent on who wins by how much tonight. But we need a victory. We need a victory. It doesn't matter what the Kings, the Bucks, the Warriors do. We need a victory tonight. If the Lakers win tonight and the Kings beat the Warriors, the Lakers control their own destiny. They'd be in the 6th seed, and if they defeated the Utah Jazz Sunday afternoon,
there's one other little reel in there. We need those pesky New Orleans Pelicans to stop winning.
Yeah,
because we want to be in a 2-way tie, not a 3-way tie, because a 3-way tie opens up some tiebreakers that don't really help us.
Yes, that's true.
And it's it's going to be interesting because the way I look at it is, what do the Kings really want to do? Who do they really want to play? What's their record against the Lakers? They're 3-1. Their record against the Warriors, 1-2. If the Lakers win and the Kings win, the Lakers are going to get the 6th seed. And they're going to play the Kings, who have beaten us 3 out of 4 times. I think the Kings are going to come out and play everybody and go for the win against the Lakers. because I think they would rather play the Lakers than the world champions.
I think you're right, Tom. I think you're right. Do you have a?
That's where all of the Laker fans' hopes have to be funneled tonight. We have to beat the Suns, even if they play their players, and they just might. They just might want to go in with a 10-game win streak into the playoffs. So if they play their players, we've got to beat them. Period. Otherwise, we're in the play-in for sure, but we're probably going to slide to 8th if we lose one of these last 2 games. I don't expect the Jazz to do anything on the last day of the year.
No.
That game is Swider and Pippen are going to start in that game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
But man, I tell you, that's the whole thing. If Mike Brown is really smart, and I think that if the Kings go out for the win, they have a good chance of getting it because they're going to ride the beam, man. They're in Sacramento and they got the Warriors and those fans are going to go crazy. And there's nothing they would love more than to beat the Warriors in that game and switch the whole thing around, and end up playing the Lakers. Because I think it's kind of funny that they probably think the Lakers with their injury woes are also the team that they're the best offensive team in the league. They want to run us into the ground. They think the 2 old superstars aren't going to be able to handle the load on it. So it's going to be a fun Friday.
Yeah, it is.
Freaky Friday for us, huh?
Absolutely. Of all of the top 8 Sacramento guys right now, Tom, the only player that's listed as good to go tonight is Harrison Barnes. They have everybody else listed as questionable.
Oh, really?
The Phoenix Suns have most of
their
theirs.
Some rules about having to be truthful and
there are, sir. Yeah.
Reports of injury reports. I mean,
yes. You can't.
Braun playing about 8 games in a row when he was questionable is like, I mean, it's like all of the talking before is Ty Lue saying, "Yeah, we're not going to double team. We're going to triple team him. Is what we're going to do." I mean, it's like, Jesus. So
So, Tom, a win's a win, but how do you think the Lakers find a way to secure victory tonight against Phoenix? And we don't care who's on the floor for them. But how do you see a victory tonight? What are your keys?
Let me ask you first, what's your guess as to whether they play or don't play?
I'm going to be honest. I think Monty Williams is going to play them like the first half, and then the second half, I'd expect him to sit them.
Right.
That's what I think is going to happen.
If the Lakers are probably going to finish 2-0 or 1-1. Okay, so that's going to probably put them in 7th or 8th. They're not going to slide down to 9th or 10th. I don't see that happening. So they're in the play in either 7th or 8th, home or away. So they got 2 bites at the apple, and the first bite's probably going to be the damn Pelicans, I mean, it'll be something like that. Or we might still hold on to 7 because the Pelicans do have 2 tough games. They have a tough game Sunday also. That's a game they could lose. But I said that 2 games ago about the Pelicans too, and they just keep hanging in there,
That game is probably likely to be for 8th place, Tom.
Yeah.
Minnesota and New Orleans. That's
right.
A huge game. Yeah, you're right. That's a huge game.
And which team would you rather play if we were in 7th and they were, who would you rather play for 8th? The thing about it is, and this is what's scary about the play-in tournament. The play-in tournament is like MLB. You could go and play a whole long season and run into one player who's hotter than hell, and Bones Highland, and boom, you're dead. The guy comes in or Russell Westbrook comes in and hits 4 straight jumpers. I mean, what are the odds that Russ is going to hit 4 straight jumpers?
But you're right, Tom. In a win or go home situation, you never know, man.
Win and the second game will be win and go home. The first game definitely is blow your big opportunity to be number 7.
You know what, Tom? If I had to make an estimation, I would say that two teams that either a Denver or a Memphis probably doesn't want to see right now are the Pelicans and the Lakers, because I would
Yeah,
think those two teams would give those two teams more trouble than it's worth, I think,
right.
in the end, because they're both vulnerable. Obviously, I mean, as much as people want to say the Pelicans are vulnerable, the Wolves, the Lakers, the Clippers, that's true. But everybody at the top has some kind of vulnerability or some
Yeah.
kind of flaw you can try and exploit.
Well,
I mean, for God's
it's an
sake,
element of the parody that we're in.
yes, yes. So I mean, if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, you probably dreading the fact that the Pelicans and Lakers might play a playing game, because you're gonna have to play the winner of that one.
Right.
And as we've seen, Tom, the Lakers can match up very well with either Denver or Memphis. Yeah, both teams are a little younger than they are, but strategically, we hope that Darvin Ham has reached a point now in the season where he's not intimidated or sort of behind the 8 ball against other coaching, because as we know in the NBA playoffs especially, not only does the caliber of defense get better the further you go, but the coaching gets better as well.
Well, it's all the adjustments. It's the game-to-game adjustments. It's, I mean, we don't see this during the regular season unless they do the MLB thing and play 2 games in Boston or 2 games in LA, and I actually like that idea of doing it, because I think I know that the players love the whole thing of doing that, because it eliminates a travel day and it's just so much easier on your body and so forth. And then for the coaching staff, it gives them a chance to make some adjustments, to practice those things that they're going to need to know how to do in the playoffs. And if I had to say if there was an area of weakness in Ham's coaching repertoire, it's probably adjustments. He seems to be slowly but surely getting the rotation down right. I like that he moved Reeves into the starting lineup. The moves to make the first new starting lineup, the new look Lakers, I thought was great moves. Beasley just didn't produce enough, so that it was made a logical move with Reeves starring as well as he has. And I think also the moves to give Rui more minutes. I like the fact that when he gave that DNP to Rui, man, Rui came back and was like a different player. And Dennis, you just got to keep reminding yourself that you got a jewel for minimum salary, man. I mean, he's got flaws. Everybody's got flaws. I mean, this whole parody thing is an incredible accomplishment by the NBA, because it's a combination of really 3 things. One is they basically changed the rules for the lottery, so that the worst 4 teams basically have the same odds of getting the top players. So there's no reason to tank it when you get, you've seen these 4 tanking teams. They don't care who's first, second, third, or fourth. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter unless it's like the 5th or 6th pick down the line. It's just almost impossible to do it. And then you've got the play-in tournament, which means everybody gets a chance at it. And even the teams that have never been in the playoffs, they want to make the play-in at least. It's a step in the right direction. So you've got that. And then thirdly, I think we're seeing a changing of the guard. I mean, there's young players on every team that you see that have gotten good enough now after 2 or 3 or 4 years where they can, on a given day, they can take down LeBron James, they can take down Kevin Durant, they can take down Steph Curry. It's just the talent level is just amazing. And I give Pelinka great credits for seeing that this was happening and making the dramatic moves to get, dramatically younger. I mean, we're under 20, we're almost 26 years is our average age now. And we've only got 2 guys over 30, LeBron and AD. AD just turned 30, so it's not like he's, pushing pushing the same limits as
Exactly.
LeBron is.
Exactly,
So.
Tom. Yeah.
But this parity thing, it doesn't work unless these young players are really good. And man, they look good. You know, I mean, I watched Bones Highland. You know, Jesus, the guy looks like he's a potential all-star. You know, and the moves, the freedom of movement that the players are getting, and all of the changes of superstars. I mean, it took me like, and this may be because I'm older, it took me a couple of weeks there before I could finally remember where James Harden was now, and you know where some of these various players who seem to be on roller coasters and merry-go-rounds, where they actually end up and so forth. There's so many new combinations of stars that, you know, just I remember seeing a guy on Twitter saying something about, man, you know, I used to know every player on every team, you know, and now it's really hard to know every player on every team. Rosters are just not the same as they used to be when, you know, in the old days. And I'm actually fascinated by what's happening with Major League Baseball. The shot clock or the pitch clock, you know, is transforming baseball the way the shot clock transformed basketball. It's really pretty surprising. So, you know, I think the Lakers still have a shot at the 6th seed. I haven't seen any odds for it, Sean. I think that your idea about possibly the Suns playing the starters in the first half so they just don't get, you know, so they can get a little shine on it, and then letting the second half go to the bench just to, you know, just so you don't waste the talent and get anybody injured. I think that probably makes sense. So I think the Lakers can beat the Suns, and it really comes down to now, you know, can the Kings help us? Can the Kings help themselves in their mind by choosing the easier opponent in the first round of the playoffs, which would be the Los Angeles Lakers? Barely able to keep LeBron and AD on the court. I mean, they'd probably sweep us, right? That's what they should be thinking right now, and sending out their best 5 guys on the lineup, and all of those questionable guys should be available when the game starts tonight at 7:30. Sean, you still there? Did I lose you? Or did we lose you? Or did you lose me? This is LekerTom. This is the Lakers. This is Mornings with MagicMan. Sean Grice. I'm not sure what happened to Sean. I'm not sure whether I'm still on. At any rate, we were talking about the Lakers' opportunities to still make the 6th seed with 2 games to go, Friday's games and Sunday's games. And there is still a remote chance that the Lakers could make it if the Clippers would lose both their games, which I don't think is going to happen. But most of it all comes down to the Lakers beating the Suns tonight, and the Kings helping them out by taking down the Warriors, so that the Lakers can take the Warriors spot as a 6th seed in the West and move on that way. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's see. You got anybody in the chat room? Okay, I see Jim and so forth. I'm not sure if there's anything more that we can talk about at this point in time. I'm not sure whether I'm on the show or whether Sean's on the show and I'm off the show here. But at any rate, this is MagicMan in the Morning. Sean Grice and Tom Wong here, LekerTom. And we'll hope everybody will join us tonight in the playback. We'll have a watch party going for the Lakers versus Suns at 7:30 in playback. And then we'll obviously have the Lakers Fast Break group chat and podcast after the game, which will be on YouTube and Facebook and so forth. So this is LekerTom checking out, and we'll see everybody tonight for the watch party and for the game. Go Lakers.